You can't be afraid of failure. You're going to fail. You're going to get no. It's one of the hardest things is not to take it personally. Today's conversation on In Search of Excellence Island Style, we're going to be talking to two women in the industry who really came from industries that were maybe not designed for you.
You need to always put the client first. If you are thinking about your pocket before you're thinking about a client, I don't want you. If you do not have the heart of a servant and integrity and honorableness and steadfastness and all these are not your qualities, you're not going to make it. People are not going to go walk up to your house and knock on the door and be like, I heard you are a realtor. You want to sell me a house? It doesn't work that way. Ask the dumb questions because it's better to look dumb for 5 minutes than be dumb for 5 years.
Welcome to In Search of Excellence Island Style, powered by the Broker Mortgage Experts. This podcast highlights leaders raising the standard through consistent, values-driven leadership, lived with aloha.
When you introduce yourself, Erica Lehmkuhl, you are the owner of Seaside Realty.
Yep.
And you always, you're loud and proud. You were a paratrooper in the Army. And when people look at you, you're like, a paratrooper? What is that even, how?
I've been out of the Army so long now that I forget that people don't associate me with the military. I met someone this morning, was talking about stuff, and he was like, you were in the military? I was like, yes, I did 23 years. I'm retired. And he was like, oh.
Yeah. And you jumped out of airplanes. You're not a 5-jump chump like me.
Indeed.
Army.
Army. And then I got Eli David here, who is an Air Force Academy grad, Air Force veteran. How many years did you serve in the Air Force?
I did 11.
11 years. So that's a long time.
Yeah.
Not as long as
Yeah, not as long as
Erica
you guys,
here
but-
or me.
Or
Erica
Larry.
quit a year before. I did 24 years. So
23.
I'm around women who served in the military and male-dominated environment. And now you as a realtor especially are in a field that is kind of dominated by there are more women realtors than men realtors. But I want to, before we go into that, what was it like being a woman in the military, especially as a paratrooper?
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about this earlier. I know when a guy comes into a leadership position in the Navy, people give him the benefit of the doubt right out the gate. They give him a chance to basically mess up. They're going to give him a chance. But I think when women come into leadership positions, it's a little different.
Yeah, a little bit. I was guilty of doing it myself because you see soldiers coming in. I'll say soldiers because I was Army. You have soldiers coming in, and when you first see them, you do size them up. If someone looks a certain way, you think a certain thing about them, whether it's their height, their weight, their just general looks, you do size them up. I think oftentimes with females, you can't tell. Like, I was never skinny mini in the military. I'm about 10 pounds lighter now than I was in the military. I stayed around 150, but I could outrun every female in pretty much every unit I was in. There might be one or two in the company or in the battalion that could outrun me, but I could run really fast. And you wouldn't know that to look at me because I was never skinny. I didn't have a runner's build. And then I look a certain way. I look, I guess, nice and quiet and demure, and that was
Anything but.
anything but. My maid of honor at my wedding described me as Army Barbie until I started talking.
I agree with her there. And what about you, Eli? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, my experience has always been, I came in as a maintenance officer, and so I found my experience to be, I really never ran into that I had to prove myself. I don't know if that's just because of the position I was in, but I always encountered all the male members I worked with were very respectful, and maybe if it's because of the way I carried myself, but I always found that I didn't have to deal with that for some reason.
Because you had rank. I was enlisted, so
Yeah,
my
that has a lot
experience
to
was
do with
very
it.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The respect is not automatic. Basically, for those who don't know, most of your audience is military, but the brand newest second lieutenant straight out of school outranks the most senior sergeant major of the Army. Now, they're not going to come up and say anything snappy to the sergeant major of the Army because they'll get
The
tightened
ones who
up,
do
but
learn real
they
quick.
learn real quick.
Yeah,
I
that
mean-
senior enlisted actually run the military. They make things happen.
Well, together
They
with
train.
our
That's part of their,
counterparts.
and they're supposed to train
Yeah.
those junior officers to become leaders and to be.
Yes.
They don't have to be the expert, but they need to be knowledgeable enough to make the leadership decisions that are going to help achieve the mission and take care of their people.
Yeah,
And
a good command team works well together. Whether you're a new lieutenant with your E7 platoon sergeant in the Army, or you're a captain working with your first sergeant, or you're a command sergeant major working with your lieutenant colonel. And it just goes up from there.
But I think the stereotypes may be dying. I don't know. I've been out for almost 10
know.
years.
8 years retired here.
When did you get out of the service?
2007.
Okay, all right. So you've been out a little longer
I've
than
been out longer.
than
So
we
I
have.
I just got out in 2000.
Oh, don't even go this.
When did you get out?
I got out 2000 into 2016.
Okay, yeah,
we
a
were
couple
right
months
around the
apart.
same time. Yeah, but I do remember when I joined in the Navy. I was at the Naval Academy, and
I got these academy graduates. Look at these
yeah,
guys
I know
over
all these
here.
smart people. And
I came in 17, no education, just a troublemaker from Kentucky. What?
to just cement that point, I'm at the Naval Academy, and at the time, I think we were less than 20% females at the Naval Academy. I know we were, and at the time, I was like, I don't think women should be in the military. And I told the girls
That's brave
that.
of you to say between us two.
Oh, I know. So in the freshman year, those girls who I told that to all had higher GPAs than me. And then I get out to the fleet and I realize there's nothing in the Navy that a man can do that a woman cannot do. I was put in my place, and rightly so, because leadership is leadership. It doesn't matter. You take care of your people. You're professional. You know your job. You
Yes.
take care of your people. You execute the mission.
I will
And-
say, though, that yes, you do look at the competence, but for the women who were not competent, they became like an eyesore for the rest of us women. They are the ones who create that stigma for us
Yeah.
coming in, because they're like, oh, look at that leader, that colonel, whatever. Look at how she's overweight. She's bad at her job. She doesn't know how to lead. Did she just get in that position because she's a woman?
And so much more scrutiny for that.
Oh, for sure.
We have to constantly
We have
fight
to
that.
compensate,
And every female is a reflection of the rest of the females. Whereas I don't feel like they do that to the male soldiers. If
No.
one male can be a dirtbag, they're just a one-off. But if a female soldier's a dirtbag, that's a representation of you. And it's, bro, everybody's not going to be, head of the class. It just doesn't work.
Well, certainly the double standard was there. But I will say this. I had my first ship, our XO. He worked out every day, but he ate. He was like a pig in a trough. He would go work out in the morning, then he'd sit down at the table, and they would bring him pancakes and eggs and bacon and sausage. And I was a physical fitness coordinator on the ship.
Nice.
No, it wasn't. It was not, because we're underway all the time, and I'd have to do body fat measurements. And the boiler techs and the machinist mates who work in these 100+ degree environments, they worked 6 on, 6 off. So they were 6
You
hours
should be
on watch.
skinny. It's hot.
No, they're fat because all they did was stand watch, eat, sleep, stand watch. And they had names that actually fit Bodrog. BT3 Bodrog. BT2 Pigget. These are and they look like it. But they didn't meet body fat
I feel
standards.
sorry for those guys if they're still around. So.
They didn't meet body, so you had to do a tape measure around them. And
I'm
they would
familiar.
come off watch, and they drop their coveralls down, and I'm like putting my hands around.
Oh, gosh.
And I'd have to throw this thing away because it was just so nasty. But I had to measure the XO, the ship.
Oh.
And he was overweight, and he didn't understand why. I'm like, and I told him, sir, you work out, but
Abs
you
are made in the
eat.
kitchen.
Yeah, they are. And actually, a brand new incident. I was just doing the job the way I was supposed to. I didn't hold double standards for anybody, and we were all men, but the officer enlisted didn't matter. The CO actually dinged him on his fit rep for it, and he never made command, which he was a great guy, but you know what? The standard's a standard, and if you're not going to maintain it, you shouldn't move on to that next level of leadership.
The Army calls that the total soldier concept. You can't just be good at physical fitness. You can't just be good at your job. You can't just be good at answering questions. The total soldier. You need to be agile. You need to be able to adjust between a garrison environment, which is largely what we're in now, and a wartime environment. And it is very hard. It's largely two different types of leaders.
So now let's kind of transition.
Let's talk about war. Okay.
No, for sure. That's
We're not
what.
here to talk about war. Okay.
Yeah, we've been at war since 1990. Technically, we're still at war.
Yeah.
But now that you're not in the military anymore, and you transition into this new job, this new field, how did you take that experience and make it part of what you do and who you are as a realtor?
Wow. I mean, I'm used to a challenge every day. Every time you PCS in the military, every time you go to a new duty station, I'm proving myself all over. It's a common saying in real estate is you're only as good as your last transaction. And that's somewhat true. So in the military, I was constantly reproving myself as a leader. and a soldier. And as a realtor, I'm constantly reinventing myself and reproving myself with every transaction. And as a broker who owns a company, it's not just my transactions and my actions that I'm answering for, but it's those of all of my agents. So it's a lot of responsibility, but I love it. Just like it's a lot of responsibility to be in the military. But the one thing I joke about in the civilian world as a real estate agent is no matter what happens, nobody's going to die, so it's fine. We'll get through this.
Amen. I say that a lot. Did anybody die? And we might miss CLA, which is conditional loan approval by a day for whatever. It's
Which
the
makes
appraisal.
me want to kill Larry.
Absolutely.
That doesn't happen often.
But yeah, I say that. I'm like, did anybody die? Or we don't get, something doesn't work out. Did anybody die? And that kind of puts things into perspective, especially for those realtors who never did serve. The people who served, they're like, oh yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
Because we lose sight of that sometimes. We get so pigeonholed into what we're doing, so laser focused that we lose the big picture. It's funny, you got your own brokerage. So something tells me you did not like the chain of command. You like being the top of the chain of command because you have your own brokerage.
Yeah.
You have your own.
Never
There's
the top.
nothing boutique about you. It says it on your website, Seaside Realty, a boutique brokerage.
Technically,
BS. There's
we're
nothing
defined as
boutique about you. You're like all over the top. As a matter of fact, that's their call sign is top, right?
Yeah, because top is the slang word for the first sergeant in a company.
Yeah.
So at the top enlisted person in the company. So top is the slang. Some people don't like it. I felt if you earned the right to call me top, you can call me top. If you just got to the unit 5 seconds ago, whoa, let's slow down. We don't know each other like that. But I didn't find it to be disrespectful. Some people don't like it. I didn't find it. But I was never on top in the military. I ran a company with a commander. And the commander and the first sergeant are like work hand in hand. So the commander is ultimately in charge, but the first sergeant, which is who I was, is the one who whispers in the commander's ear like, hey, maybe we shouldn't do it that way. Hey, maybe we should do this. One of my favorite stories, I'll make it quick, was we were in the field or we were doing something planning for the field. And the commander said, I want to approach it from this angle and A, B, C, D. And I said, sir, where were you in 1995? Because he loved to make fun of me for being old because I was 10 years older than him. He was 28, I was 38. And he's like, I said, where were you in 1995? He's like, I was in 3rd grade. So I was already on my first combat deployment. So how about we do it the way I want to do it? And he was like, well, that's a very compelling point.
And you deployed multiple times,
Oh, yeah,
right?
yeah.
So now, how many times did you deploy to? I know we're all over the place right now. How
Well, I'm
many
only going to
times-
talk combat deployments because
Yeah.
I don't consider a deployment where you're not getting actively shot at or not getting imminent danger pay to be a deployment.
Oh man, there goes all my deployments.
I know. No, I respect the heck out of what the Navy does. Don't get me wrong. I couldn't do it. Going underway every 6 months on a
It's
ship.
not that bad.
I couldn't do it.
not
Going
that
in a
bad.
submarine, going in a submarine for an afternoon would freak me out. So hats off to y'all. I couldn't do it. But anyway, so as far as combat deployments, I went to Bosnia in 1995 to 96, Peace Implementation Forces. Technically, on paper, it was not a combat deployment because it wasn't a war. But we received imminent danger pay, and I got shot at more in Bosnia and ran into mines and things more in Bosnia than I did in Iraq.
I
And
had friends in the Navy who actually they used gas or
there was the threat of
there was
chemical warfare.
but-
I think that happened
but
more before.
I think that
95.
happened to one of my friends, one of my classmates.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely happened
yeah.
during Desert Storm.
Yeah, no, this was in Bosnia.
In Bosnia.
Yeah,
It didn't happen to us while we were there, but we did have to carry a protective mask the whole time because they thought it was going to happen. And when we went to Bosnia, we didn't have IBAs. We didn't have the bulletproof vests. We had a flak jacket, which is a joke. Like, it
Yeah.
might protect you from shrapnel 20 yards away, but it is not keeping
carry
you
the
from
whole
shot to death.
filter with your MCU2 papa. That's what we called it. I don't know what they call it in the
I
Army.
don't
That was
know.
your gas mask.
Yeah.
But anyway, so you went started your own brokerage. You worked for another
Oh, you
realtor
skipped
at
other
first.
deployments, 2 Iraqs. Okay.
Oh yeah,
go
2
ahead.
Iraq. So you did 2 Iraq, 1 Bosnia.
Yes.
Okay, that's a lot.
It was
Instant respect for just so much. But that's being out there, being shot at.
you
Big-
learn what real stress is.
yeah, yeah. But you started your own brokerage like within
Yeah.
the first couple years
Yeah.
of being a realtor. Talk about stress.
No,
What-
it was the opposite.
Explain.
I don't like being bossed around. Anyone that knows me knows that I'm not good with that. It was a problem that I dealt with the whole time I was in the military because my theory was if you can't outrun me and you don't know more about my job than I do, then don't tell me what to do. And I could run really fast. And because I had come off of a not combat deployment when I had been in the Army for 3 years. Okay, so I joined 17, 18 moved to Germany, 19 went to Bosnia on my deployment, 20 years old moved to Hawaii. So my non-commissioned officers, my bosses, were overweight E5s and E6s that couldn't run and had an excuse for everything. And I was teaching them tactics. So I was not good with them trying to tell me what to do. Because I'm like, I'm teaching you. Just let's stop. And so I had a little bit of an attitude about it, which set me back a few times. For those who don't know, I got demoted because I have a big mouth. I cussed out an E6 and I disobeyed some orders, but no regrets. Anyway, what were we talking about?
So I would really like to know, how did you find yourself in real estate? How did you transition?
I just answered that question this morning too. Yeah, my husband suggested I get my license. I was going to just get out of the military and become a GS employee. I set everything up where I was working at U.S. Army Pacific headquarters in the G6 section as a E8. I was going to move right into that slot as a GS12 because it was opening up, and that's what I wanted to do. My husband suggested I get my license because he was a home builder, and maybe I could sell the properties he was renovating. My license, and only sold one property for someone that he worked with, but I started liking it and I was good at it.
Yeah, I remember when you started, you had that job. You were the GS job.
Yeah.
And you didn't.
I started when I was on active duty.
Yeah. So what? Yeah, you started as a realtor when you were active duty. Yeah.
Yep.
But you didn't last very long in that GS job.
No.
How long did you even have that job?
1 year and 9 months.
Yeah, which you had success right away.
Yeah, in both.
In
to
both,
be fair.
yeah.
I was getting time off awards. I was doing well, but my time was split. I was doing real estate while I was at my job, and they did not like that because it's against the rules. So I would go out in my car during lunch break and do contracts. They wouldn't let me talk on my personal cell phone, even in the parking lot. So I'd go out to Palm Circle on 15-minute breaks when the other lady was smoking. I'd go outside and talk in Palm Circle on my cell phone to a client. That was stressful, and I couldn't keep that up. I did not have any time to myself.
Yeah, no, it was. I've talked to other people who had full-time jobs and trying to be real estate. To me, I guess there are some people who can do it, but you are not going to have a quality of life. You're not going to have a life if you do that.
You can't do the volume that I do.
Yeah.
Currently, or the volume I started doing in 2020, you can't have that volume and have a second job.
No.
Unless you're literally you're just sitting at the desk at your second job and you're doing real estate all day.
And
I have a transaction coordinator. I have other agents. It's too much work, and people want answers right now all the time. They don't want to wait until 5 p.m.
Yeah, no, for sure. So now, Eli, you were actually. This is how we met. You were actually one of Erica's clients.
Yes.
What was it? Let's hear the truth. What was it like working with Erica Lehmkuhl?
I'll be honest. So when we first talked to you, Erica, on the phone when we were still in Virginia Beach, and this energy is just coming out of the phone, I was like, whoa. This was like, we've worked with many real estate agents because we have lots of other properties. And it was like shocking. And I looked at Joan, I was like, I don't know. This is like a little balls to the walls for me. I don't know my personality. But the more we talked, the more I was like, okay, she knows her shit. She knows what she's doing. And she knows the island. Every time we asked a question about, will we be able to rent this place? Any question we had about renovating, costs, permitting, anything you could possibly want to know about before buying, Erica had an answer. And it was like, she's not making this stuff up. She's been on the island. She knows. And so that immediately put us at ease, put me at ease. And then even through the process of looking for homes and then settling on one, in that time between actually moving into the house, you were taking care of us. And I had never experienced that from a real estate agent, where you were like, hey, we needed a blow-up bed for the back room. You loaned us one. You're like, hey, if it's not working out, you can stay in. You had an Ohana for us to stay. And it was like unbelievable. And I didn't really understand where that was coming from until I started learning about your background and that you were a first sergeant. And then it immediately clicked. I was like, oh, that makes complete sense. She knows how to take care of people. That's all she ever did in the military. Yeah. And so it was an amazing experience. And we're always talking you up. Every time we have an opportunity to recommend to any of our friends coming, we do.
Yeah, no, I let clients stay with me quite often. I've had clients live with me for a month. Lindsay Roman lived with me on the way in and the way out. I love her. She's fabulous.
Andrew, right? Andrew,
yeah, Lindsay and Andrew.
Yeah.
Andrew wasn't there yet, I don't think. So she lived with me in our old house and our new house, I think.
That was one of our first
one of my first
transactions together.
For those who don't know, Larry was a little baby loan officer and I was a little baby agent when we first retired, and we met each other at a regional, and together we conquered the island.
That's awesome.
We grew together.
We did, actually. And
I love that story.
I remember just about every one of our clients, because we actually, one of the things I will say about you, and I certainly take it very seriously as well, is you're not just selling a home and then you're going away. No, we come over to your house And Thanksgiving,
parties.
Easter, you're always doing something. You have that servant, that giver's mindset that truly separates you from other agents on this island.
I want to do another boat cruise. So
I know.
I loved renting out a big boat and going around.
That was pretty fun.
So fun.
That was pretty fun.
So that's upcoming. If you're my client and you're still on island, we're going to do this.
All right. But I think, and that's part of your I was going to ask, how did your leadership style in the Army transition to your leadership style as a realtor?
Being extremely forthcoming. Something that I had a lot of people pour into me while I was in the military, and one of them told me, I don't remember who, I wish I did, that bad news does not get better with time.
Nope.
I think it was when I was like a private and I lost my weapon in the field, which happens because you turn around and somebody comes and snatches it, but that's good training to teach you, don't leave your weapon, your M16 or whatever, M4, don't leave that unattended. And it sounds like a no-brainer, but when you're in the field in the middle of the woods, you don't think about it. You lean it against a tree because I was Signal Corps, you're pounding a sledgehammer, it hits you in the back of the head repeatedly, or it's hanging on your stomach. You can't pound a sledge like that. So you set it down. And if you walk off, the observer controllers get it, and then you pay. But yeah, the point of that was that if something bad happens or something bad's going on, the sooner you tell me as your leader, the sooner we can fix it together. And it's a metaphor for the weapon leaning against the tree that disappeared. It's anything bad that's going on. The sooner that a client tells me they lost their job, or they tell me what's going on in their life, or they tell me what's going on with their home sale, or they're getting a divorce or whatever, the sooner we can conquer it together. So I'm like, please do not withhold information. Let's conquer it together. We'll find a solution.
And that's so important too, because again, we got the big picture and they're freaking out. Oh my God,
Yeah.
I lost my job, or this happened, or the appraisal came in low. We got the big picture. Again, nobody died. We'll figure this out.
We'll figure it out.
But the key is we don't do well with secrets.
No, if you don't tell me, I can't help you.
We need transparency in the transaction. That goes all across all sources of comms between all members of the transactions. Eli, you're a loan officer. You've been working with me for a while now.
Bless her heart.
Yeah, I know. You survived. What, as you were a leader, you're a maintenance team leader, or you're a maintenance officer. So how many people did you have working for you?
At the most, I had over 200.
200 people working for
200
200 airmen working for you.
Yeah, all maintenance technicians from multiple disciplinary fields.
And then when you got out of the Air Force, you got into project management.
Yeah, I went into project management, and I went back to LA. That was home, and that's actually where I met Jonah. Aww. And then, that kind of derailed my professional life, but that's totally fine. Now I have a family life, but I also get to work and do fun stuff like that.
Jonah is really fun. He's a musician, for those that don't know.
Yeah, so tell us, Eli, how did you...
If you come to a party, he's singing. If you come to a party, he's playing the drums, Nick is singing and playing the guitar. We're getting down. It's going to be awesome.
How did you meet Jonah?
Okay.
Jonah, you're going to be... It's not like you don't know the spotlight, Jonah.
My personality, you know how they say opposites attract? Yin and the yang. And so Jonah's this larger than life, outgoing. He's a musician, he's a performer, and I love being in the background. I love watching and just enjoying. And so our personalities really fit well. But I was looking for drum lessons. I play piano, and I was like, I'd really love to play drums, be able to play with all the songs I like. And I was like, I'm sure there's a drummer out here I can take lessons from. I'm in LA, right? And of course, we're in Burbank, which is where all the actors and the musicians, that's where they all live. And so he was a mile away from my house, and I started taking lessons from him. I think we got through about 5 lessons, and then we started dating. And then he told me he wanted to enlist in the Navy and join the band.
Join the band.
Jonah, he's an amazing musician. I don't know if he was the original drummer for Modest Yahoo, which is a big name artist, and he's got 2 or 3 gold records. He's a phenomenal musician, and everywhere he goes, he just did like a high school thing with a band where they play for a high school.
Jonah did.
Jonah.
Yeah.
The kids absolutely adore him. He just rave reviews. They all want to take pictures with him. He's like a rock star, even in the Navy. His name, even admirals will come up to him and go, "Hey, I heard you were the drummer for Modest. What was that like? What was it like being a rock star?" And it's pretty funny, the experience he has.
He's bigger than life in that respect, but he's still humble. I mean, one of the most humble men I've met.
Yeah, he's very down to earth.
Yeah, really down to earth. Now, how did, obviously you were the maintenance, 200 people working for, how does that helping you transition into doing what you're doing now as a loan officer?
Yeah, it's the same thing you learned as being a leader. It's learning how to take care of your people, learning how to keep your process moving forward, learning how to, all those leadership and management things that I learned as an officer are completely transferable to what I'm doing here. And it's obviously just a different product, a different process, but all those things translate.
Yeah.
over.
Let's take a quick break with a word from one of our sponsors. We'll be right back. This episode of In Search of Excellence Island Style is powered by the Broker Mortgage Experts. If you're building wealth, creating stability, or planning your next real estate move, you need strategy, not just rates. The Broker Mortgage Experts are committed to helping families and investors build strong financial foundations through expert guidance and personalized mortgage solutions. Excellence starts with the right foundation. Connect with the Broker Mortgage Experts today. All right, so we are back with Erica Lehmkuhl, Seaside Realty, and Eli David of The Broker. And while we were on break, Eli, you had a question. What was that question?
Yeah, I was just saying how I think it's so interesting, and I think it'd be really cool for everyone to hear about how Erica and you both started. You mentioned it earlier, but that progression of where you started, which was zero, to where you guys are today, and how that looked.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Eric.
I appreciate it. I love our origin story. So yeah, I was a brand new agent. I think I might have even still been in the military.
You were still active. I was still
Yeah.
active. We were
Oh my
both still
gosh.
active.
We didn't know. We went to the North Shore Regional, and that's where I met Larry. And I was no one. He had not closed. I don't think he closed any deals at that point, and maybe I hadn't.
I closed some, but I hadn't gone full time yet.
Okay.
Yeah, I started like full time in January of 17.
Yeah. Okay. So we
So,
were both very
yeah.
new.
Yeah.
I didn't even get licensed until April of 17. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think.
So maybe it was right after, but I was still a brand
Yeah.
new.
So we were
loan
brand new.
officer.
And the
Yeah.
biggest thing to me is at that point, like right now, as a broker and as a producing agent, I get multiple phone calls every week of loan officers that want to take me out and wine me and dine me. It's like being the only girl at the prom.
I got to her first, guys.
But no, he took the time. I think as a junior loan officer or a junior agent, you got to find your people. And we happened to find each other and both grow together. But it was because he was going to regionals. He took the time to buy me a cup of coffee when I was nobody. I was no one. I had closed no deals. And he didn't know if I was going to amount to anything or not. But he took a chance on me,
It
and
was
I
a
took
gamble.
a chance on him. It was. It's always a gamble. But I think that's what a lot of people getting into these industries don't understand about being a loan officer or being an agent. You've got to put yourself out there. People are not going to go walk up to your house and knock on the door and be like, I heard you were a realtor. Do you want to sell me a house? It doesn't work that way. You have to go to regionals, like the North Shore Regional. I keep saying North Shore because I'm from there. The Leeward Regional, the whatever, the Metro. Go to the regional meetings. Go to open houses. You don't have a client looking? Who cares? That's how you get to meet the other agents. You're
Sit
a loan
in an
officer.
open house. Just
Sit,
sit
oh
one.
my gosh, yes. Sit in an open house with your agent. Show them that you give a crap about them. Because sitting open house is not the most fun thing in the world. And so it's putting in that time. If you're not willing to put in the time, you're not gonna make it.
Yeah,
I can't stress that enough.
and you got to put yourself out there too, and you can't be afraid of failure. You're gonna fail. You're gonna get no.
Yeah,
you're
you're gonna get no more
figuratively
than
gonna
yes.
get the door slammed in your face. And it's one of the hardest things is not to take it personally.
Yeah.
If it happens all the time, maybe you got to do a little more work on your delivery.
If you never get a yes, we need to
And if all
find
you're,
out why.
here's the other thing, and I see this with a lot of certainly loan officers who have worked with me and some realtors. You cannot reek of desperation.
Oh my gosh.
You
Does it
can
have a
tell that
stench?
desperate person when they come up to you. They need your business. They want. They're going to tell you how great their rates are, but you could tell. You just feel awkward around them because they're desperate. I need to know. You don't be desperate.
Some agents are like that as
Yeah.
well. They're like, oh, I
Yeah.
need this sale. And it's okay. If you need this sale this badly, what are you willing to sacrifice my financial well-being because you need a sale? And so I tell people, like, not to be snotty, but I don't need your commission. Do I need to make money? Yes, or I can't pay my mortgage. But having 1 or 2 sales per month not happen is not going to ruin me. I will still be able to eat and pay my bills. So I am not going to put you in a bad financial or even mental situation.
Yeah.
I want you to be successful because that's what's going to lead to more sales. It's going to lead to you being a happy customer. It's going to lead to me being able to sleep at night and not be a dirtbag. So I care about those things.
And that's the worst thing. And you see that happen. There's a lot of people right now. I heard this number, and I don't think it's true, but 1 out of every 4 sales is a possible short sale or foreclosure right now.
I could see it because 2022 was the peak of the market, and it started to go down after that. And it's been 3 years for military. So what happens now?
Yeah, they're PCSing. And in 2022, what were they doing? They were overbidding on
Yes.
properties. And I know you and I talked about that a lot. Let's be careful here. And I remember the beginning of 2022, the president of our company, this is my old company, he said, hey, end of the year, the market is going to be completely different. And you need to start saving money. You need to cut costs. You need to watch out. And I know a lot of companies, they didn't listen. I know my company didn't really listen. And they were still spending money like like it was 2020 or 2021 again. And a lot of people were hurt. They put a lot of people in bad loans too.
Anyone who thought that the 2% interest rate was going to last was a fool.
Yeah. No,
it could only last so long. It didn't make sense. You don't have an economics degree to look back at history and understand that the best predictor of future behavior, whether it's in a person or in a market, is past behavior. What does it stay at typically? 8%? Okay. What are we now? We're at now about 6%. So we're still pretty good.
Yeah.
And that's, like I said, I'm not an
And we're getting better, but you don't know that. And it's funny. You actually had that question for me today. Somebody asked me how are rates?
Yeah.
And my answer was pretty simple. They're great. It's all relative. They're great. What rate do you want? I can get you any rate.
I have people that are saying they're waiting for the rates to drop. I'm like, waiting for them to drop to what? They're like the fours. I'm like, that might never happen.
Yeah.
You might get a 4.999 if you go into one of the new builds, but you're paying for that. Points. The new builds, they have a little bit of a monopoly on the
They do have
lending, so they're able to do more bulk stuff. It's just different.
It is different, but still, it's a great environment. And I always ask that when people ask me, I give them a range, but it doesn't matter.
It changes hour to hour, day to day.
Yeah.
And it changes depending on, is it a jumbo loan? Is it
a conventional loan?
is it
How much is your
conventional?
down payment? What's your
Yes.
credit score?
All of those things.
Is it a single family home? Is it a condo?
Yeah.
All of these different things weigh in. And the key is, can you buy a house with an affordable payment? Doesn't
That's
matter
the
what the
most
rate
important
is.
thing.
All right, because guess what? If the rates are high, guess what? They'll probably come down and you'll refinance.
Eventually.
You'll refinance later. And guess what? When rates come down, that same house that you could have bought for $500,000 today, now you're paying $600,000 for. Because does that happen? Absolutely. Rates are up. They'll come down. Don't know when, but they'll come down.
Just make sure you plan ahead and can afford that mortgage at the highest rate it's going to be. If you do a buy down and your rate is lower, like the first year or second year or whatever, make sure that if it's going to go to $6,000 a month in
You
3
can
years,
afford that payment.
you can afford $6,000 a month in 3 years. Do not overextend yourself. You do not need to spend your entire pre-approval amount. I don't think I ever have. Because I don't want a mortgage that's going to make me want to throw up every month. You have to be comfortable-ish. It's okay to stretch, but you don't overstress yourself.
Yeah,
Don't be house poor.
I know when I first bought my home here, I was above my BAH. It was a little uncomfortable, but it wasn't astronomically above my BAH. And within a year, I was able to refinance and then get that payment down to what my BAH was. And then I refinanced again, and it was less.
When you first get a loan, that payment's going to seem so high.
Yeah.
But then 3, 5, 8 years later, you're going to be like, wow, I'm so glad my payment is $4,000 a month. Because when I bought my house, it was $4,000 a month. That was 6 years ago. Now it seems like that's the cheapest payment ever. But $4,000 a month 6 years ago was big. And so what's going to happen to the house, to that payment, if you buy something now and it's $5,500, which is hard to swallow, then what's going to happen in 5 years when the same mortgage or the house has increased in value and you're trying to buy it now and the rate is still similar or even a little bit lower? It's still going to be $6,500 a month. So you'll be wishing it was $55,000. And I think that you can't obviously see Back to the Future, like the movie, and redo what happened in the past, but you can say this keeps happening in Hawaii or whatever market. So it's better just to buy now and hold on to it because the price is going to keep going up.
Yeah, and so is rent.
In Hawaii, it's gone up 5% per year since the 80s.
I have a question. So there are some people that are like, Jonah and I, we were really committed. We were going to buy. There was no question. But then you run into people who are like, they're just like over-analyzing it, waiting for the rates to drop, waiting for some perfect situation. Have you ever been able to convince or talk to them into seeing the bigger picture and seeing that larger picture? Or has it always been if a person is committed, they're going to do it, and if they're not, then they're probably just...
I try to keep them from making a mistake because right now I have a client that is looking at properties and they keep looking at the price point. They're like, They were looking at one house that we analyzed this morning. It's not going to pass VA conditional appraisal. And I already know this. And it's so bad that even as a flipper, I don't think I would buy it. It's a single family, but they're looking at the price point. And I'm like, okay, but you're going to get into this. And part of it's not permitted. And that's a whole other thing. And I'm trying to explain to them why this house at $800,000 is appropriately valued. Because they're like, oh, if that's the case, it should be selling for $400,000. I'm like, sweetie, stop. No. So I'm trying to explain to them that if they repaired it, it could be worth $1 million. But right now, there's so many unknowns with the construction and the work that needs to be done. It's just not worth it. And they don't have the money to fix it. So contractors don't work on good looks and winks. They want money.
Nope.
So it's just not worth that one. So I'm trying to explain to this person why maybe spending $1 million, which is their pre-approval amount, it might actually be a good thing. They're an officer, but they're a little junior. They're nervous, big family, right? So I'm trying to help them. Their plan is to buy something that has the ability to rent out after they leave. So we're looking at somewhat multifamilies. We're looking at a lot of different options. They're just hung up on price point right now. And I'm like, you're not going to get what you're looking for $800,000 unless it's in an area that maybe you don't want to live. And we're not allowed to tell you if something's a bad neighborhood, okay? Just you have to look it up yourself.
I can.
Agents cannot.
Yeah.
I can't be like, yo, that's the hood. I can't do that.
I'm not a licensed real estate agent.
So ask Larry.
I'm not a realtor.
I might blink twice, but I can't tell you it's not a savory place. You just look at the crime reports, ask around, and sometimes areas get a bad rep because people heard things and it's total garbage.
Yeah, if you're,
People say don't buy anywhere that begins in a W. Yeah. I live in Waialua. It is quite nice, so let's not even go there.
You attract the people that, you're going to be around. And if you're a good human being and you take care of your neighbors and, they're going to take care of you. It's the people who feel that sense of entitlement in their neighborhood. They're disrespectful. Those are the ones who really have problems. And they're the ones who are complaining about this and that and the other. If you just be a good human being, then I think you're going to be fine no matter where you live.
For the most part.
For the most part. But that's the way I look at it. And I grew up in some pretty bad areas where I grew up. So
some of the bad areas have the best neighbors because they're going through the struggle with you. And if you treat them like family, you become family. Yeah. It's when you treat people like they're not good enough or they need to cut their grass shorter. Or if you move to an area that doesn't have an HOA and you try to be the HOA, that doesn't go
nobody
well
wants. We don't like HOAs. Period, but then you got somebody who feels like they are the HOA. I'm the president. Who cares?
I know.
So what was your question again? I forget.
Oh, I was asking about you started the origin story, but then in particular with Erica, like how you started out there, you all started at zero. Everyone starts at zero, right? You say that a lot, Larry. And then, but to where you are today, you've grown this massively impressive company, business. So in between from the zero to where you are today, what's your story? How did that happen for you?
Yeah, and you don't just do real estate. You also do property management.
Yes.
And you're also
not all personally. I have a team because I can't do it all. Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, for sure. The secret to success is scaling. I think.
Yes. That's
in our industry. You can't do everything yourself.
Yeah.
But you gotta hire slowly, fire fastly. That's not the way, but you know what I'm talking about. But you have to trust other people to do different parts of the job, and not to say that those are minimum wage.
It's certainly not.
Your responsibilities.
You get what you pay for.
But
I pay my people because otherwise you're going to get, if you pay minimum wages, you're going to get minimum
exactly.
work, in my opinion.
No, and I don't know. I think I pay my people pretty well. Jade's still sitting there. She hasn't left me yet mid podcast.
I'll ask around.
Yeah. But
blink twice, Jade.
If you want to be great, you got to focus on your strengths. And if you're doing all these other things, you can't really focus on those strengths.
What does everything come down to at the end of the day? Taking care of your people.
Right.
Yeah.
It is.
But you have property management, but you're also, and we're going to step off the real estate. You're also involved in so many different, I don't know how you have time to even sleep. You've got ADPI. You're the Hawaii for ADPI, which is active duty passive income. You just went to Guam and spoke.
Yeah, that was APIN, Asia Pacific Investor Network. That one came from the other, but they're no longer the same company.
Yeah.
So ADPI is worldwide. APIN focus is mostly on the Pacific. And I work with both because I'm in the Pacific and part of ADPI.
Yeah.
So.
And then you're also, I don't know what your position with Irreverent Warriors is.
So they call it the lead or something, the lead coordinator. It's basically, I run the Hawaii chapter.
You run the Hawaii chapter of Irreverent Warriors. You're involved.
Dan Sepulveda helps with that.
Yep.
He's on our team now too.
Yep. And then
And Lena and Desiree. Oh,
and
amazing
then
team.
and then you're also on the Haleiwa
Chamber of Commerce. Board of Directors.
Yeah. What else are you? Obviously North Shore
Professional
Regional.
Women's Network Secretary.
Yep.
So I still owe them minutes from the meeting on
Yeah,
Tuesday.
I don't know
working
how
on
you
that.
have time to do that.
Well,
but,
I'll do it before the end of the week.
But you're also involved in your church too.
Oh yeah, I run the coffee ministry.
Yeah.
My
Do you
husband
ever
runs
say
the
no?
chair ministry.
Do you-
I do. No, I do. So I'm no longer on the North Shore Neighborhood Board. I didn't realize I probably
They kicked her off.
No, I didn't realize you had actually. I thought if you were incumbent, you automatically went on the ballot. Turns out you had to fill out paperwork. So I didn't read the fine print, and I did not apply to compete
that's
for the
good.
next year. So I fell off of that. But that's fine.
When do you see Jason?
At night. He's as busy as I am. Do not get that twisted. If we get up early in the morning, we go to the gym. We call it the Lehmkuhl Wellness Center downstairs. The little soft side sauna and cold plunge and all that. And
yeah.
pull-up
We
bar
got
and
a cold
everything.
plunge. How is that?
I don't like it. I don't do
Oh,
it.
okay.
I do not like
I
it.
have a cold. I love it.
I hate
yeah.
it.
No,
It's painful.
Nobody
hurts
likes
me.
it, but you get into it, you do it. It's kind of one of those things. Sometimes you got to do things you
I
don't
think
like.
it's a guy thing because
It hurts my body.
Yeah.
When I get in it, it causes me physical pain. When I put my arm in the cooler, that ice water will give me a migraine and I almost
Yeah.
pass out. That's
Yeah.
how much I
It's a-
can't take
That
cold.
pain is
I am a
weakness
wuss.
leaving your body.
No, you know what? Put me in the desert. I am a cold-blooded person by nature. I can hike across the desert all day. I was never a heat cat throughout all of my different deployments, whether we had AC or not. Doesn't matter. I don't care. I can take heat. I cannot. Cold makes me into a little whiny person. I can't take it.
I do actually enjoy it. Like I said, I do my sauna after I work out. I'll hit the sauna for about 20 minutes, and then I'll jump in the cold plunge for
what
4
is
minutes.
that
What
supposed to
temperature
do?
are you at?
Yeah, what is that supposed
I'm
to
at
do to your
50.
body?
Oh
50.
God, no! I got in it at 60 one time, and it was still like not pleasant.
Yeah. No, it's a definite shock for me. It cools my body
Who
off.
doesn't like getting
But it's-
electrocuted?
Yeah. You get in there, there's that shock initially, but then you get used to it. And then by the time the alarm goes off 4 minutes later, for me, my
How many
body's
minutes?
anticipating
4 minutes.
4 minutes. Yeah. My body's anticipating. So I actually I could feel like myself getting numb. And I think it's just my body saying, hey, it's time to get out.
But what is it supposed to be doing? Is it psychological? Is it
Well,
physical?
part of
That's
it,
supposed to
I think, is psychological. Part of it is to cool off after, because I can't. After I get out of a sauna, I can't do anything. I couldn't jump into a shower because I come out of the shower, my body hasn't cooled
Yeah.
off. So it allows my body to cool off. It helps with the swelling, the circulation.
Oh, okay. Well, I can see that.
I
yeah.
used to do cold baths when I got home from marathon training when I was in Maryland because I was running through the winter to get ready for a Marine Corps marathon. I guess it was summer, but it was cold in Maryland. Anyway, but I would get in the bathtub with it empty. I would wrap a towel around my upper body and I would fill up the tub with just the tap cold water and I'd sit there for 15 minutes and it makes you not sore. It takes the soreness out of your muscles. But I'm shivering for 15 minutes in the bathtub.
Yeah.
And then finally I would get out and get in a hot shower and it helped, but that was unpleasant. But when I get in the cold plunge, I used to wonder when you see people fall through the ice and people go save them, I would die. I would immediately sink and die. I figured that out because my body seizes up. When it gets cold, it like cold water, it seizes. Not like seizure, but like it. I would just go in the water and be like, I'm dying, bye. So don't ever let me go in cold water.
So let's change this. We're changing the subject off of real estate, but I think
we
it's
have to talk
important.
about death. I'm good.
No, we're not talking about death. We're talking about living longer and living healthier. Like you look great. You've lost.
Yeah.
You've lost. We won't go into weight.
I lost like 15 pounds or so,
pounds.
but then I gained some back. So I'm the same weight I was when I was in the
Yeah,
military.
and you're
well,
not-
135.
you're not-
I'm 135 now.
was gonna say-
I got down to 125, and it was not cute. It was too skinny for me.
Yeah.
I was tired.
And you're tall too.
Yeah, I'm
How tall?
5'6".
Yeah,
I'm
you're
5'6".
tall.
But for the whole world, I turned 50 in October, and I weigh 136 pounds as of this morning.
That's pretty solid. And you're a badass. You just climbed Mount Kilimanjaro.
I
Tell me
did.
about that. That
oh my
looked.
gosh. So
Speaking of being the only woman in a male-dominated, you're the only woman on that entire trip, or at least in your group.
in my group. Yeah, so I did Kilimanjaro with a group, and the leader, his name is Siegfried Teagues. There was 7 of us, 6 males and me. All of them except for one was about 6 foot tall and 200 some odd pounds. Maybe one of the guys wasn't 200, but they were all tall except for a guy named Rob. He was almost my stature. And we went to climb up the mountain, and I was nervous because I was the 3rd oldest, and I was the only female. And I was like, oh my gosh, I don't want to be the weak link. So I trained and trained. I was Orange Theory. I was walking up Peacock Flats, which is on North Shore. It's up a hill like 3 miles and turn around, come back.
It's a great.
Yeah, and so I was very physically fit and very ready for it. And my oxygen stayed so high the whole time that the guys were like, "You're stealing all the air." But I felt great. Other than the cold, it was cold every morning. You're in a sleeping bag trying to get the will together to get dressed because it was cold. I would get up in the morning and get dressed. And once I was dressed and out, it was fine. So the actual hike part was not hard for me. It was being patient because we did the 6-day Lemosho route. You start, you go up, and then you come back down a little bit to sleep. Then you go up and acclimate, and then you come back down to sleep. So we went up and back multiple times. So you don't just go the route. You go up and back and up and back. It's to beat altitude sickness.
Okay, all right. That's what I thought.
And help you build red blood cells because we're at sea level.
Yeah.
I literally live at sea level. I live across the street from the ocean. And I think because I do Orange Theory and I do like high intensity workouts, my body is used to being starved for oxygen and it knows how to save it or create it or whatever. I don't know the science. I'm not like a physiology person or whatever. But yeah, I don't know if physiology is the right word. See, I'm really bad at that. But yeah, I was able to not have altitude sickness. We did take Diamox, but I wasn't even short of breath. It was fine. Like I was singing the whole way.
You're probably annoying them.
I probably was. Anyone who knows me knows that I sing constantly. I make anything into a song. And the whole way up and down Kilimanjaro, I was singing.
You and I would have got along because I do the same thing, and I don't know the words. I make the shit up. I make it up. So.
It's impressive to figure out who knows the words to what songs. Because some of the guys with us, these are all business owners. These are all like respectable individuals, and one of them is just like busting out the words to like T.I. You can do whatever you like, and I'm like, how do you know that song? Okay.
Yeah, it's.
But it was great. Go with the group.
Those big guys. They had to carry that big weight, and that's taxing.
Well,
you being in shape.
Packs.
You being in good shape helped you. You have less to.
Oh yeah.
You have less to carry, and so that's huge.
Everybody carried their own day packs and stuff, but we did have porters.
Okay.
So we didn't have to carry our tents and food. We did have to carry our water and all our gear for the day. And if you've ever been on a mountain, the weather will change 5 different times. So you have to carry like your poncho. You have to carry all your water. You have to carry your food for that day. You have to carry wet weather gear and also like your undergarments, your long johns, because it will go from 70 degrees while you're walking, all of a sudden clouds will come over, it'll start snowing and hailing, and you're like, what in the world? And you have to put on 3 more layers. Yeah. It's definitely an experience. If you've ever lived in Germany, you've experienced 4 seasons in a day, you're good. Yeah. But it was different.
That's so impressive. It's so impressive. And it reminds me, I took my Boy Scouts, we climbed Mauna Loa, which is, we went to the summit. There's a cabin midway and there's a cabin at the summit. And it's the world's, over 13,000 feet. It's the world's tallest volcano. From the bottom to the top. Yeah. And Mauna Kea is the one that has all the telescopes on it.
Okay.
Mauna Loa is right next to it. And we're hiking, and it's nice, and then all of a sudden it starts to rain, and then it starts to hail. And we had one of our scouts, I think he might have got altitude. I think he was just sick. But we had to make a decision. What do we do? Do we go back? And we're like, we're halfway here. If we go back, we're walking right into the storm.
It can be life-threatening, though. If headaches and vomiting.
Yeah, he was just sick.
Okay.
But we had to consider that. And I actually had a medic, actually 2 guys who were Army, and both were.
Good. So we're not killing the Boy Scouts.
Not killing the Boy Scouts. But we got up to the summit, and we were wiped out. It was we were supposed to just stay there for a day. We ended up staying there for two nights.
Wow.
And
at altitude?
Yeah, it was awesome. You know why? Because
some
there's
people say they can't sleep at altitude. I slept fine.
It was amazing. Like our scouts, they had no cell phone service.
That's the best part.
They were playing cards. They were outside playing tag, but they couldn't go too far because there was a cliff that went right into Caldera. That's actually active volcano right below us. But at night you go out and you can see the Milky Way.
That's the way Bosnia was. Bosnia was beautiful.
It was
Kilimanjaro was like that. The rainy season started a bit early, so we had a lot of clouds, a lot of rain and hail.
Yeah. Love it. That's about the extent of my Army is scouting. But all right, so we're going to take one more break. We're going to come back and finish this up. I'm excited. I don't even know what we're going to talk about next, but I'm excited to bring it home with Erica and Eli. We'll be back in a second. Aloha. Question, how do you do everything? You're doing, be a mom, be a husband, be a mom, a wife.
Be a mom.
You are the husband.
I'm not good at the husband.
I'm pissed. I thought we were golfing this Sunday. What happened?
I'm having a shitty week, and I'm taking out a little bit on my husband, so we're not doing very well right now.
Is that right?
Oh.
Yeah, and I recognize that we're on the wrong side of the calendar to have a lot of conversations right now, and
Yeah.
it's during certain seasons of life.
Jason, I love you, man.
Yeah, during certain seasons.
We
of
don't
life
need
as
to
a
golf
woman,
with Erica. We can golf just us guys.
You're done. But no, we're trying to figure out our weekend and
Yeah.
work-life balance. And our son is almost out of the house. He's a junior. He's going to be a senior next year. We have so many moving pieces, trying to figure out how to run our home and our relationship as a married couple and our child. And our other child is 26 and got married and moved to Colorado. And it's like, there's just so many, our life is so in flux right now. Being 50, I'm getting close to that time in my life when I'm going to have a big change going on. And it's not happening yet, but I think the hormones are getting closer. So
I'm
it's
going through
making me very
menopause right now. It's fucking
It's a
tough.
thing. It's a thing. How old are you? What,
56.
56? Okay, I was
Yeah.
giving you a little extra credit. But yeah, and I think that as we get closer to that, especially as a woman, so we're going to take this like a whole different route, your hormones do swing more. So it's like, you think you have PMS when you're 30s? Oh, sweetie pie. Just
My
wait.
wife is a saint. She's so good about it. The best. Love you, honey.
Not Vicky, though. Vicky is special. She doesn't have the swings.
Vicky, yeah, no, not at all.
It's just me.
Not at all. But Eli's question on the break
Yeah.
was,
Okay.
how do you do it? I
Yeah.
mean, you can't just wing it and and be successful at all those things. So how do you do it? What do you do to manage everything? We talk about quality of life,
Yeah.
work-life balance.
Today in the car, I put the phone on mute and screamed some expletives.
Yeah. So stress, that's what you do to relieve stress?
Normally I go to the gym, but my knee has been acting up. My knee
Yeah.
and my shoulder.
Okay.
I have issues with my rhomboid muscles right now, which I don't freaking know why that is. I think that's what they're called. The ones underneath your traps
Yeah.
or whatever is in the back. They're irritated. I think it's connected to my lower back, which is, I have a bulging disc and it's connected to stress.
You need to go see the healer.
Jason sent me his number this morning because he wants me to stop being mean, because when I'm in pain, it makes me a little meaner than normal, which is
Yeah.
not a good situation. And my knee is hurting. I think I tore my meniscus. So I'm just a hot mess right now, and not being able to go to the gym Friday, Monday, or yesterday has put me in an even crappier mood. So I'm going to go tomorrow and try to ride the bike instead, because I'm not supposed to run anyway. I had a hip replacement. So even when people
That's right.
ask
When
me,
did
they're
you
like,
have your hip
you're
replaced?
100% disabled. I'm like, yes, because you can't see everything that's going on in my body right now, or my brain.
We see what's going on.
Sorry, I had my hip replacement like 5 years ago.
That's what I thought. You had it replaced not long
Well,
ago.
I was getting out of the military,
Yeah.
and I had my retirement physical. And I was like, hey, I was worried about my back because I had a bulging disc for about 13 years. I got it in 2005, I think, right before we deployed, which was fun. And it bothered me on and off, but it was hurt really bad when I first did it. And then anything else, I was at Fort Bragg, so as long as you can run, who cares if you're in pain?
Yeah.
I could barely do push-ups and sit-ups, but I could still run, so nobody cared.
The badge of pride in the Army and the Navy. We're just going to
Running.
work through everything. In the Air
Running.
Force, though, you get like a chit. You get,
You get that in the Army.
right?
Yeah, you guys like to act like we don't do anything. There's no physical fitness. Like you guys, you had that. Do you remember that? I don't know, Erica. You had that guy post on your Facebook page just when you made that comment about the Air Force and all the
What'd I say?
services make fun of the Air Force.
Yeah, because you guys are
We're just
usually
jealous.
smarter and we're jealous.
And
we
that's
have
what-
better jobs. And
But that's what I said. I said,
said
guys
on
are just
there.
jealous.
Yeah, and I think I said that in my comment. Like,
Yeah.
we make fun of the Air Force because they have better lives than us, and we're jealous.
Like, where do we want our kid? What service do we want our kids to join?
The Air Force.
The Air Force.
Air Force or Coast Guard. Coast Guard's pretty awesome.
Coast Guard's pretty bad. I didn't
There's
even know what
some
the Coast
cool-
Guard was.
The Coast Guard is,
They actually do
certified
mission
badass.
stuff.
Badass.
Yeah.
I don't know if
But-
I can say that, but they're certified. They
No,
are. Watch The Guardian if you don't know what I'm talking about. And I know that everybody in the Navy is not a fighter pilot, and everybody in the
No.
Coast Guard is not a rescue diver, a rescue swimmer, whatever they call it. But those are two really cool things to look
Yeah.
at.
I want to be a naval aviator. And then
That's how they
I
get
watched
them.
Top Gun. That's how they got me.
Why do you think there was another Top Gun 20 years
know.
later? Because they needed to work on recruitment.
Yeah.
It
But
worked-
that Top Gun actually boosted Air Force recruiting.
Really?
Because people couldn't tell the difference. They just saw a jet and they're like, oh,
They
it's
didn't realize there wasn't enough carrier. There wasn't enough aircraft carriers in Top Gun.
That's smart.
But that's, come on.
And then the people
Air
who
Force
couldn't make it-
uniforms are ugly.
the ones who couldn't make it join the
Navy,
Army.
Oh my
Navy,
gosh.
come on. The naval whites are pretty
well,
bad.
those are pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're nice.
And the
looking.
our other white uniform, we look like ice cream men. But
Don't wear the Navy whites in Cuba. I learned that from a few good men.
Oh.
I don't know. Good, another classic good movie.
That is
it's
a great
I just
movie.
had the kids watch that and they're like, this is the best movie
We need to
ever.
go.
Oh, yeah?
Are we going to an episode of the Rewatchables right now? Because that's what I've seen.
What's
I love
that?
it. Oh my gosh. Am I allowed to talk about another podcast on yours?
No. You know what? We should.
No.
Okay.
I
I'm
love
not going
making
to
my
say it's
kids.
called The Rewatchables, and it's about a bunch of movies.
I don't
that
care.
Are really
Tag
good.
him. Tag him.
Yeah,
It's a
if you want
podcast?
to, yeah,
The
it's called the
Rewatchables.
Rewatchables, and
Yeah.
they talk about movies, and they talk
Oh, yeah.
about who would have played this part better, and where's some things that they messed up. So in military movies, they'll be like, "This was not accurate."
Oh, yeah.
I love it because
My wife hates that when we'll watch a movie and
you can't help it.
I watch a Navy movie, and I forget there was one, the Greyhounds, I think it was, and Tom Hanks is the CEO of the ship, and they're talking about him having slippers, and I'm like,
Yeah.
these are actual legitimate things.
That was a great movie.
That was a
watching
pretty
it.
good movie.
really?
It was
Is that
on.
new?
I saw it on Apple TV. I think it was Apple
Yeah, it was on
TV.
Apple.
Yeah,
It was
that was
really
pretty good.
good.
But in any case, let's get back to how do you do it? How do you do everything? What do you do to stay organized? What do you do to really maintain your sanity? And obviously, there's
Who said I
question
was sane?
sanity for you. How do you do that?
I have a little bit of a secret weapon that some people think is not a secret weapon, and it's like a little bit of the ADHD. So my brain is on 18 different tracks at all times. That's why I write everything down. I have an old school calendar because if I do not write it down, my phone could go off 18 times. I don't care. I'll hit the off button, turn around to go do what the reminder was for, and it is gone. It's gone.
Yeah.
I'll walk downstairs 3 times to get something from the carport because my house is up on piers, and I'll get down there and I'll do 8 other things. I'll go down to check the mail, and I'll be like, oh, let me take the trash. And then I take the trash, and I'm like, let me clean out the refrigerator because I know there's old food from 2 days ago that's takeout. And then I'll do that, and then I'm like, I need to wipe off the counter because there's crumbs. And then I'm like, oh, I'm gonna make a cup of coffee, and then I'll get coffee. Then I'll turn around and the garbage bag's there. So I'm like, oh yeah, I was gonna take the garbage out, and I'll go downstairs and take the garbage out. And they'll be like, the garbage can's really dirty. And I'll hose it out and leave it upside down. And then I realize that I need to pick up the dog doo-doo. And then I'll see the shower door is not right for the outdoor shower. And then I'll go back upstairs when that's done. And I'm like, shit, I didn't get the mail. And so I'll go back down to get the mail. And then I'm like, oh, I need to put the trash can back where it went. And then when I'm picking out the trash, I'll be like, oh yeah, Eli asked me what the trash schedule was for their neighborhood they just bought. And let me get on the phone and send them that. And then the phone calls. And I forget to send the text to Eli about where her garbage day is. But I'm on the phone, and then I go right back upstairs with the mail still in the box, the trash can flipped upside down, and I'm on the phone looking up properties because I'm so excited.
Do you regret asking that question now?
No. That's
But
funny.
that sounded so real.
But that
Yeah.
is my life. But I always come back around to the things I need to do because if it's really important, it goes in the magical notebook.
Yeah.
And I used to tell my soldiers, this is not a new thing.
Nope.
When I was in the Army, I'm like, if it's not in the magical notebook, it does not exist. I have an appointment on Thursday. I'm like, tell me when I have, and I'll write it down because in the military, they teach you to keep your little notebook.
Yep.
And my notebook went from this size that went in this pocket. Back in the BDU day, it went down here. And then it went up to this pocket when we went to ACUs. I was in the Army for a very long time. And then whatever the multicam was, then it went in the breast pocket because it was just easier or whatever. But so I write everything down. If
Right.
you want it done, watch me write it down.
So I don't know how people don't operate without
Yeah.
a notebook.
Right.
From the day I got commissioned, I remember my XO, the same XO he didn't pass his physical fitness test. He was like,
Keep reminding
bring a
him, I'm
notebook.
sure he's stoked
bring
to
your
hear about it.
Bring your notebook. If
Yeah.
you don't have a notebook, you're not going to remember anything I say. And I
used to make my NCOs get out their notebook.
I would.
I'm like, get out
Well,
your
that was
If
notebook.
you
for our
came to a
uniform.
meeting with me and
Yeah.
you didn't have your notebook,
Right.
I'm like, go.
Writing utensil in your notebook.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to remember everything that I say.
Right.
And people say, oh, I'm just going to type it in. No, it's different. It's
No, it's
different.
different.
Totally different. And maybe it's just I'm old and that's just old school, but I think you have to be able to write stuff down. And then you got to go back and look at it. That's the other thing. You go back and look at it. And that's how I studied too.
I know. So the alarm says honorable, giving, and steadfast. And what that's from is those are the 3 adjectives that I want to describe myself. And that was part of the thing I got through the do hard things.
Yeah.
So every day at 12:30, I have an alarm that reminds me that my adjectives and the person I want to be is I want to be remembered as honorable, honoring my obligations. And then I want to be also known as giving because to whom much is given, much is expected. So I think that giving back is really important. And then being steadfast. So originally I had some different words, but as I was thinking about it and going, because we change these things constantly, it changes depending on who you are and where you're at in life. And so I changed it to steadfast other than what it was something else, motivator or something trite like that. And I was like, I need to change it to something better because steadfast is you just don't stop. You don't stop.
Yeah.
And I don't stop. If it has to get done, it's going to get done.
Yeah.
And so I think that it's actually pretty ironic that we were talking about that at 12:30.
Yeah. That's
But yeah, no, steadfast. I think steadfastness is important.
yeah.
That's how you're successful at any
You don't
job.
give up.
You
You
know, that's-
can't.
It ain't easy.
If I quit, I'm quitting on my client.
And let's talk about, let's kind of transition this over to real estate. It's not easy. You watch HGTV, super glamorous, but it's not hard. And there's a lot of, you talked about how do you talk to people, not being desperate, but also not being negative. That question, how are rates? They suck.
Sometimes I'm a little
Okay,
negative.
yeah, but overall, that's not, nobody wants to talk to a negative person. That's
I bring
what
up worst case scenarios because that's
yeah,
important.
don't be
I need
dishonest.
to talk to you about what the terrible things are that could happen if you buy this house.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you about the good things, but before you even buy a house, this is the most important thing on this whole podcast. Before you purchase is when you need to start thinking about your exit strategy.
Yeah.
Before you purchase.
Yeah. What is your plan? You got to go into it with an exit strategy.
Yes.
And we talked about that. We just did a PCS exit strategy,
Which was fabulous.
which was, we're going to do it again.
People should go to that before their PCS. And as soon as they get here, they should go to that.
No,
it was
for sure.
amazing.
Yeah, it was really good. That was really good. We'll do it again here at least one more time this year. And I don't know if we need to move it to a bigger venue. I love the venue we do it
It was
at.
pretty packed.
It is. It was packed. We could probably get the entire room.
Do you
But
think you could do that as a webinar too to get people who are getting ready to come?
Yes.
we could do that as a webinar. Yeah, I think so. We might be able to. But struggle bus in the industry for many realtors. What is you got somebody coming into the industry as a realtor? Why should they come work for Seaside Realty? What kind of realtor do you want? What kind of person do you want? Because you got all the big, and I'm not bad mouthing anyone. You got the
No, everybody has their purpose and theirs.
every real estate brokerage has its own pros, has its pros and
Their own flavor.
cons, their own flavor. But why should someone come work for a boutique real estate company like yours?
So I started with a boutique real estate company when I was a baby agent. Because when you get your license, you have to go work for someone. You can't be independent. You must work for some broker. And I went to a little mom and pop because I wanted the freedom. I wanted to be able to do property management. Some of the big guys let you, some don't. I also wanted somebody that was going to teach me one-on-one. I wanted to really learn from somebody. And so that's why I chose the brokerage that I did. And the commission splits were pretty good. So at the people that I want for Seaside, number one, I am selective. I don't just take anybody. You need to always put the client first. If you are thinking about your pocket before you're thinking about a client, I don't want you. I don't want you. Because your number one thing should always be to make somebody else's life better. If you do not have the heart of a servant and integrity and honorableness and steadfastness and all these are not your qualities, you're not going to make it and you're going to make my brokerage look bad, and I don't want you. I want people who care about others the way that I do, because my reputation and Seaside's reputation is very important to me. I built it. It's my baby.
Yeah.
So it's important.
And they represent, everything they do represents, ultimately it comes back to you.
Ultimately, I'm responsible.
Yeah.
Every one of the
Legally too.
Legally, everything the brokerage does, everything an agent does, I am responsible for.
And
It's a lot of responsibility, but I like it.
And you got to figure out the solutions too. You got to be
yeah.
You got to be a problem solver. Well, case in point, the transaction we just closed,
Oh my gosh.
where we had to get an attorney involved.
But you know what?
had to, if you hadn't stepped outside the box, and I think everybody did in the transaction a little bit to make
Everybody
it happen.
did.
But
The other side collaborated with us so well,
Yeah.
and I don't want to mention it because I don't want their client to get mad at them, but
yeah,
we all worked together so well
Yeah.
that I hate it when people go, oh, so-and-so, that's your competition. No, there's somebody for everybody. There's enough business to go around. And on Oahu, we collaborate. Yes, there's a little healthy competition, but ultimately we are all seeking the same goal,
Yeah.
especially those of us that work with military heavily. We are going to do transaction after transaction with one another. And if you're fighting too hard for your client and alienating the other sides will not work with you going forward if given another option. So the collaboration is super important. And fighting for your client is what you should do. But at the same moment, you have to think about things from the other side and work together with those other agents. They are your peers, not just, you don't want to smash them. You're not Hulk smashing. We work together. And that's why I like Oahu.
we have to. It's a small fishbowl.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody knows each other.
I tell people it's 2-year rule. In 2 years, you'll either form great connections that are going to take you far, or you will burn every bridge and you might as well pack your crap and move.
Yep.
I am serious. 2-year rule.
Erica, honor to have you on board. Again, watching you grow from baby realtor to larger than life. Just
Same.
amazing. Realtor, mom, Troy, I've watched him grow. Wife to Jason. I love seeing what you do together.
Yeah.
And just the relationships you nurture together. We didn't even talk about real estate investors. There's so much we could go on. Maybe we'll have to
I
have
can
you on.
come back.
You can come back. But it's just truly enjoyed having you on board today. Eli, thank you so much for your perspective on really everything, from the customer to the loan officer to just really admiration we both have for Erica and all that you've accomplished. You're a badass.
Yeah.
And one last thought from you. If you were starting out in the industry today, what would you, as a realtor, what would be the first 2 things you would do?
Number one, I would attend every networking event that I could and every open house that I could. You have to be out there. You have to put yourself out there. Number 2 is align yourself with people who are the type of agent or broker that you want to be. And you don't have to only learn from a broker. Learn from your peers. Ask the dumb questions, because it's better to look dumb for 5 minutes than be dumb for 5 years.
Ooh, I like it. All right, we're going to end on that. Thank you so much, Erica. Thank you, Eli. And let's have a great day. Let's make it excellent.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to In Search of Excellence Island Style. Stay connected for more conversations with leaders raising the standard through purpose, values, and aloha.